Those guys, that's an irreverent bunch back there in that corner. Irreverent. Are you ready to go? All right. Well, 75% positive would be a good weekend, right? You know, I had a good weekend if that's the case. 75% of my games were good. The Jaguars won yesterday. So my son Eric had a great win. Hanks High School won Friday night. So my son Aaron had a great game. My grandson, who starts at Asotin High School in Washington, won their semifinal game against Tri-Cities Christian, 2B League in Washington. That's a pretty small level, but so 3 games is good. So I'm waiting right now for a responding hilarious laughter from the crowd, and I'm not getting it. So it was not a good trip, and it wasn't. We didn't play well. Another game where we started out pretty well, came in at halftime and had an opportunity to stay with them. We were close enough, I felt like, at halftime. We held in there, did a nice job in the first half, kept up with them within striking distance. And then we had a poor second half performance. Kind of led off the second half with our defense. Our kicking game was pretty good. One of our goals, I think I mentioned it here, was to give them a long field, you know, and for us to, when we get a short field, to score when we're in the red zone and make them drive 80 or 90 yards to score. Opened the second half, they drove, I think, at least 80 yards, and but with the aid of 3 penalties. So we kind of shot ourselves in the foot right there at the beginning of the third quarter. And then, again, our offense sputtered in the second half, and we're just not, our timing isn't there offensively, and we're not in a positive rhythm on offense. I've never had this feeling and had things go this way for an offensive team, but I'm still searching for answers, as is our coaching staff and our team. And just searching for answers on how we can help the offense perform better and help the team to perform better in the second half. Change of quarterback didn't seem to help. We made the change to go with Jake. I will say that he got banged around pretty good Saturday night, Jake did, and I didn't want to see Ryan get in that situation. His shoulder's still very sore, and so it opened the door for Mark Torres to come in and get some playing time, and he did some good things, but he obviously needs some work there too. So we were balanced offensively, 32 run, 32 pass, although we called probably a few more passes that turned into runs, so that's a little misleading. But the main thing I'm trying to do is hold this team together and keep us from splintering apart and offense versus defense type of deal, you know. And so that's got to be the emphasis for a head coach, is to lead them in that direction where everyone stays together and gives full effort. Didn't see anybody quitting out there Saturday night or anything like that. We just didn't execute as well as we're capable of. And that's saying a lot. Consider what these guys have been through. Anything more about the last game? Evidently you guys saw it or listened to it also, so that's good. Okay, you got LA Tech rolling in here for a 1 o'clock game on a Saturday. What? 1 o'clock football? College football being played at 1 o'clock on a Saturday? Where'd they come up with that different twist? You know, I was thinking maybe Tuesday night at 5:30 or something like that. But so it'll be great to be home. I'm a believer. High school's Friday night, college is Saturday, pros are Sunday, and you bowl on Monday night. So that's kind of how I feel about the TV situation. So it'll be great to have a 1 o'clock game here in our stadium. Weather looks good. I'm sure we'll have a good crowd. We're playing a real good football team, coached by a good friend and a real good coach in Louisiana Tech. They've been solid in Conference USA. They're a typical Conference USA team in the fact that they are physical. They resemble North Texas, who we just played offensively. They're fast. They're athletic. They're physical. They're well coached. And they have big play abilities, both offensively and defensively. They're struggling a little bit. They lost their last 2 games at home in Ruston, which I'm sure isn't too good a thing in Ruston. But they also lost 3 games by 1 point this year. So they're 4-5 coming in here and need 2 more victories in their last 2 games to go to a bowl game. But they let 3 games get by 1 point and could have easily won those games. And so statistically, they're kind of in the middle in most statistics. They, however, are very good in turnover margin. They're +6, which is second in the league. And one other thing they're really good at, I had written down here. But most of the time they're 4th, 5th. Oh, their quarterback is 3rd in passing and total offense. So the quarterback are a quarterback-oriented offense. They run the zone and zone option and the quick screens to the outside and the bubble screens and throw the ball sideways and then run at the defense and have a real good running back, number 6. They have 2 running backs, number 3 and number 6. And he'll hit it in there. And the quarterback's fast, very similar to last week's quarterback at North Texas. And that's Jamar Smith, and he's the leader of their team. They have a receiver, Teddy Veal, and he's probably twice as much receptions as anybody else on the team. They have first time they're coming back with all 4 receivers from their first game. They opened with South Carolina and had a couple guys hurt and haven't had anybody back. They're all back together for this game. And so it should be, they're averaging over 400 yards total offense. They're just a typical Conference USA club. Fast, quick, good athletes, well coached, and move the ball up and down the field and throw it a lot. And then hit every now and then with a trap or a draw or a zone play up the middle. Defensively, they're 4-3 defense, but they play 5 defensive backs. Again, this is about the 3rd time in the games, or maybe every game that I've coached against so far, the defense is using a lot of 3 safeties and 2 linebackers. They're a 4-man front with 2 linebackers. Their leading linebacker, number 33, got hurt in the game. I don't know if he's going to be able to play this week or not. I haven't had a chance to check on that yet. Their safety, their leading tackler is a safety, number 2, but he also plays linebacker for them in passing situations. So they play a game with 3 safeties and and 2 linebackers, and those guys are making most of the tackles. They're running out. They're not a blitz-o-matic team like a couple teams that we've had, but they do blitz. And they have an outstanding cornerback, actually, number 21, a kid from Nacogdoches, Louisiana. No, he's from Thibodaux, Louisiana. That's where Nichols State is, I think, Thibodaux. And he's just a freshman, brand new, and he's really good. And he's got pass breakups and interceptions, and he looks to be like their best defender. And again, they're about in the middle of the conference. Their special teams are okay. They have a punt returner that's Veals, the wide receiver, and he's averaging almost 10 yards a punt return, which is excellent. I think he may have 1 or 2 touchdowns on punts. So it's they're leading or tops in turnover margin and fewest penalties. That's what it was, fewest penalties. So it'll be an interesting game out here Saturday, and one I think that the fans will really enjoy because there should be lots of action on both sides of the field. Any questions about Louisiana Tech? I'm thinking about what we're going to do about the quarterback situation. Right now, I would say it would probably be similar to the way it was in the game. However, it depends on Ryan Metz and how he feels. But Zach got hit. Went from a game of no sacks to a game where the quarterback was getting pounded for poor Zach. So, and he was hurt, just ribs and chest and wind got knocked out of him. Nothing serious, I don't think, where he won't be able to get well within a week. And I think another week for Ryan Metz will have his injured shoulder. It's just with an injury that's bothering you all the time, I think sometimes it takes away from your execution. If you because you're kind of afraid to get that thing hit again. None of these guys are afraid. I don't mean to say that. They're tougher than heck. But I certainly wouldn't want to see. We'll see how it goes with practices. It'll be a real battle at the quarterback position, who starts if Ryan is healthy. I'm sure of that. Any other questions?
You mentioned the main focus right now is not letting things splinter.
Right.
What is that process for you? Even though you know these kids over the past couple of weeks, but what is that process like from a man-to-man with each of these kids to help that aspect?
Well, I think you just got to put your foot down and catch it when you see it. Any of the coaches or seniors or players need to police themselves. If guys popping off in the locker room about something, just stop it. That's not helping. We need to be supportive of one another. We need to be positive and just keep reinforcing that. And I think the other aspect that's really important is this coaching staff for 5 years now have recruited all these kids, have done a great job and have a great reputation as far as the ARP ratings and our grades and how kids perform in class and how kids perform off the field socially. And we only have 2 more weeks. I'd hate to see any of that, anything happen that would take away from what they've worked so hard to accomplish, because that's their reputation. That's this team's reputation on campus and in this community. It's a group of good young men that go to class, that are good students, and are good people with good morals and character. And so we certainly want to do everything we can to keep that going. And it's the little things that's the difference between winning and losing, and little things become big things. So if we see them starting to splinter away, then it's our responsibility as a coach or coaching staff or a member of this team to get that young man back on track. And it goes from wearing green fluorescent shoelaces to a red shirt under the uniform when you're supposed to wear an orange shirt, or orange socks when you're supposed to wear white socks, or little things like that. Because it's this age, student athletes like that to be an individual, and we're not slow pitch softball team. We're a Division I football program, and we need to act like one and look like one and all that type of stuff. Not say, we haven't had a big problem with that, but I'm just saying we got to nip it in the bud so it doesn't become a problem. So when you look out there, you know, one guy's got green armbands, another one's got red armbands, and another one's got a tail, another one's got stuff sitting out of his back end, you know, just that kind of stuff. You don't see that from quality programs and first class winning programs. You don't see that kind of stuff. And so I don't expect you'll be seeing it from us either. But you got to keep your finger on it.
Taking a mile high level as a program, and I know it's your job to kind of keep things focused now. But overlooking this program, what do you think needs to happen here?
Well, what needs to happen is happening. You know, they're going to replace me in 2 weeks, and that needs to happen in 2 weeks. So, and I'm sure we'll come up with it's going to be a refreshing change in the athletic department and in the football program, and that happens in the growth of a program. You know, you hit lulls and highs and lows, and so. But it's going to happen, whether I think it needs to happen or not. It's going to happen. Certainly, and it's not going to be me. But it's something that it didn't help. I don't think it helps any program to make a change in the middle of the year. I don't think it's right, but it happened, and so we go on.
You took a 3-win team and turned it into an 8-win team for 2 straight years. The first 2 years here at the program. The next head coach is going to be taking over a different type of situation. Is this, in your opinion, something that's going to take 2 to 3 years to try to turn around?
Well, I haven't looked at the schedule. I don't know who the head coach is going to be, what type of, how he's going to do it. I think obviously that will depend on who they hire. If they hire a guy who's done that before and, you know, is a scoring genius and throws the ball over the field and going to score 50 points a game, it could happen right away. If it's a guy that wants to build a program from the grassroots up, it's going to take a little longer because we still have a lot of players on scholarship here, and they're not going to have too many scholarships to give out when recruiting starts. So they're not going to have 25 scholarships to go out and get. I remember when I was at Weber State taking over a program very similar to where this level's at. You know, we had 25 scholarships, and I went out and got 25 JC kids. We only had like 30 players on the team at the time the year was over. So we had to do that. We had 1 running back on the team. And so then we had to make huge advances quickly. It's not that way here. We don't have 25 scholarships to give out next year. So the recruiting is, and we have 6 guys that are already gray shirts that are around or in the program and around going to school that will take up partial, of the 16 or 18 scholarships that we have to give.
In the 10 years you've been here as head coach, do you see this program as a program that needs a veteran coach that has experience in this one, or a young up-and-comer that's known as a great recruiter and can bring that top level of recruiting here to UTEP and then hire coaches from within?
Well, I don't think it has anything to do with, I think just getting the best available coach, the very best one we can get, no matter how old he is, and I would think that we would get someone with the emphasis on offense. It's an offensive type coach, although you can hire a great defensive coach and he just gets an offensive coordinator that lets him run it that way. So there's 2 ways to go. But I just think it depends on who they coach. Just get the best guy you can, best in all phases. It doesn't have to be just some offensive guru that just specifically does things, because there's more to being a head coach than that. When you do that, sometimes then they just hire an offensive coordinator and go be a head coach. Because you don't do a lot of coaching when you're the head coach. Not many people are like Leach, that's offensive coordinator and the head coach. You better have a really good defensive coordinator when you do that. And that's what usually happened when I was coaching. They had a lot to do with the offense. At Washington State, we had Bill Doba. Here we had some really good defensive coaches, and Andre Patterson was a great coach. I just let him do his thing, you know. And okay, so this is our last home game. 1 o'clock Saturday. NC2A football. Chris Schenkel. Did I pronounce that right? Didn't sound right, did it? Chris Schenkel?
Yes.
Award winner will be listed, so take your headsets so you can listen to that on the radio when you're sitting out here. We're going to have good weather. It's senior night. We have 18 seniors. Last chance to win in front of the home crowd, in front of our home friends and family and students and parents. If you can't get up from this one, you don't have any business playing college football. If you can't get up for this game, this weekend, seniors' last game, the last time you'll be in a uniform in this stadium in front of your family and friends, then you don't deserve to wear a football uniform. So we're going to be ready to play. We're going to be excited to play, and we're going to play our very best, the best that we can play. End of story. Thanks. Going to come in and ruin my climax like that.
Saturday afternoon, you get ready to come out of the...
Damn, weren't you guys ready to go? Then he has to come in with the questions. Okay.
Saturday afternoon, you got 18 seniors that are, like you just said, getting ready to step out on that field. What do you tell them, especially with, you know, the way this season has gone, and how do you motivate them to continue to do what they do? I mean, this is the last time they'll put on a uniform here.
Yeah, and I meant that when I said that. I don't think they're going to need me to do anything. If they do, then they shouldn't be playing. I don't think that's going to have anything to do with it. I think they're going to be, like you said, this is the last time they're in this stadium. Their mom and dad are here. Their cousins are here. Their aunt and uncle's here. Their girlfriends are here. They want to make this the best they've ever played, and they're going to give the best effort to do that. I don't have any other thoughts that would come where I'd have to do anything. If I do, then, gosh, I hope he's not playing. I hope he's not starting, you know, if they feel that way, if I have to motivate them. They'll be ready to go. They'll be ready.
And what do you tell the fans to get them to come and watch this game?
This is your last time, could be your last time in many years, to come to a game that starts at 1 o'clock on a Saturday. Last time to see these seniors play. And, you know, we've got a band of 20,000 hardcore minor supporters, no matter what the record is. We get 20,000 people here per game. That's awesome. Well, bring a friend and let's get 40,000 people to cheer for the seniors. Okay.